Good morning, children. Welcome to science class. Children, let's continue our chapter 10, that is animals, form and function. Children, last class already we discussed the body movements of animals like earthworm, snail, cockroach, fish, birds. Okay, and snake also we discussed. Then also we discussed movements in human beings. The skeletal system already we discussed. Now we will discuss about children joints and movements. So children, what is joints? The place where two or more bones are joined together are called joints. The bones are held together at the joints by strong structures called ligaments. Then types of joints. Children, three types are there. Immovable joints or fixed joints, slightly movable or cartilaginous joints, then freely movable or perfect joints. Then immovable joints means children, these joints do not allow any movement. For example, joints between the bones of the skull, joint between the upper jaw and the rest of the head, joints in the tooth sockets. So these joints are children immovable joints, means fixed joints. Then slightly movement joints. These joints allow very little movement. For example, joints between adjacent vertebrae in the backbone, joints between the ribs and the breastbone. So these are the examples of slightly movable joints. Then freely movable joints means these joints allow free movement of the bones in various directions. For example, joints in the elbow, joints in the knee, joints in the shoulder and joints in the neck. So these are the examples of freely movable joints. There are four major types of freely movable joints. These are children ball and socket joints, pivot joint, hinge joint and gliding joint. Okay, so what is ball and socket joint? First of all, we discuss. In this joint, the ball-like end of the one bone fits into a cup-like cavity, means socket type. Okay, children, here you see cup-like structure is there, that is known as socket of the other bone. This allows movement in all directions. Children, we can move our shoulder all direction. So this is known as ball and socket joint. Here two examples are given. Joint at the hip and joint in the shoulder. Clear? The next one is pivot joint. Pivot joint allows rotation only. In this joint, the rounded surface of one bone fits into a ring formed by the other bone, so that one bone is able to rotate over the other in a ring. For example, joint between the neck and the head. Then hinge joint. This joint allows movement in one direction only, similar to the hinges of a door. Okay. For example, children, elbow joint between the upper and the lower arm, knee joint between the thigh and lower leg, wrist joint between the forearm and the wrist. So these are the examples of hinge joint. Then last one is gliding joint. The joint allows bones to glide over each other so that slide to slide as well as backward and forward movement can take place. Only slight movement takes place in this joint. For example, joints between the bones of the ankle. Okay. So these are the examples and 4 types of joints: ball socket joint, pivot joint, hinge joint and gliding joint. Then children comes to the muscular system. Muscles are attached to the bones and this make it possible for the bones to move at the joint. Children, you know there are about 656 skeletal muscles in our body. The muscular system consists of muscles. These muscles help in movement. Muscles have the property of contraction and relaxation. It is this property of muscles which is responsible for the movement of bones. Okay. When muscles make themselves shorter means contract. Shorter means contract and relax means longer. Okay. They pull on the bones and move them. When muscles cannot make themselves longer means relax again on their own. So this contraction and relaxation process this mechanism can we move our body or can move our hand, legs. Okay. They need another muscle closely to stretch them. This second muscle does this by shortening means contracting itself. The second muscle which stretches the first muscle called the biceps is called the triceps. Here children you see this figure. This is children biceps means this side is contraction side means shortening of the muscle and this side is triceps means here this side muscles is relaxation. Okay. So shortening means contraction and longer means relaxation of muscles. Okay, here you can see other figures are given. Triceps means relaxation means lengthening of our muscle. Biceps means contract, shorten our muscles. So, overall chapter, you read this chapter properly and also you remember the definition, what is skeleton, joints and ligaments. Okay. So very important terms are there in this chapter about human body and also animals movement. So children, read this chapter properly, okay, and learn the important terms. And if you learn this chapter properly, it will be easy for you to learn the question answer. Okay children, thank you. Have a nice day.